The history of potato chips is a bit of a debated topic, as it's not entirely clear who first came up with the idea of turning slices of potatoes into chips. However, it is generally believed that potato chips were first created sometime in the late 1800s. One story suggests that potato chips were invented by a chef named George Crumb at a restaurant in Saratoga Springs, New York. According to this story, a customer complained that the fried potatoes being served were too thick and soft, and Crumb decided to slice the potatoes as thinly as possible and fry them until they were crisp. The customer loved the crispy, thin potatoes, and word of the new snack soon spread. Another theory suggests that potato chips were invented by a chef in England, who came up with the idea of frying thin slices of potatoes as a way to use up the small, misshapen potatoes that were not attractive enough to be sold whole. Regardless of where and how they were first created, potato chips quickly became a popular snack food and are now enjoyed all around the world. We explore how Lay's potato chips are made, from potatoes on the farm to a crispy snack in a bag. Potato chips are a popular snack food made from thin slices of potatoes that are fried or baked until they are crispy and crunchy. There are many different styles of potato chips, including kettle-cooked chips, which are made by cooking sliced potatoes in a kettle of hot oil and have a thicker, softer texture. Thin and crispy chips, which are made by slicing potatoes very thin and frying them until they are crisp and brittle. Wavy chips, which have a wave or ripple texture and are made by frying sliced potatoes in a specific way. Baked chips, which are made by slicing potatoes and baking them in the oven until they are crispy and are technically lower in fat than fried chips. And flavored chips, which are made by seasoning sliced potatoes with a variety of flavors such as salt and vinegar, barbecue, and sour cream and onion. There are also many regional variations of potato chips, including chips made from sweet potatoes or other types of root vegetables, and others made from a variety of grains and legumes. Lay's potato chips were first introduced in 1932 by the Frito Company. The brand was named after founder Herman W. Lay, who started selling potato chips out of the trunk of his car in Nashville, Tennessee in the 1920s. Lay eventually formed a partnership with the Frito Company, and the brand was officially launched as Lay's in 1932. In the early years, Lay's was known for its classic potato chips, which were made using a secret recipe that included only the highest quality potatoes and a unique blend of seasonings. The brand quickly gained popularity and became known for its slogan, "Bet you can't eat just one." And over the years, Lay's has introduced a variety of flavors and styles of chips, including kettle-cooked chips, wavy chips, and flavored chips. Today, Lay's is one of the most well-known and widely available brands of potato chips in the world, and is enjoyed by people of all ages. Let's see how this crispy snack is made. Lay's uses a variety of potatoes to make its chips, including russet potatoes, which are known for their high starch content and are commonly used for making chips. The company sources its potatoes from local farms and carefully inspects them for size and quality before using them in its products. Once at the factory, the potatoes are washed and sorted by size. The smaller potatoes are used for chips, while the larger ones are reserved for other purposes. Smaller potatoes are often used for making potato chips because they tend to be more uniform in size and shape, which allows for more consistent slicing and cooking. This can result in chips that are more evenly sized and have a more consistent texture. In addition, smaller potatoes tend to have a higher starch content, which can result in a crisper and crunchier chip. The potatoes are then sliced into thin chips using a machine with a series of sharp blades. The thickness of the slices can be adjusted to create different styles of chips, such as thin and crispy or kettle-cooked. The sliced potatoes are then placed into baskets and transported to the cooking area. When making potato chips, the sliced potatoes are typically cooked in a vat of hot oil. The oil is heated to a high temperature, usually around 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which helps to cook the chips quickly and evenly. The cooking process takes about 4 to 6 minutes, depending on the style of chip being made. Thin and crispy chips are usually cooked for a shorter time, as they are fried until they are crisp and brittle. Kettle-cooked chips, on the other hand, are cooked for longer, which results in a thicker, softer chip with a more pronounced potato flavor. During the cooking process, the chips are continuously stirred to ensure that they are evenly cooked and do not stick together. Once the frying process is complete, the chips are drained of excess oil to remove any excess fat and reduce the overall fat content of the chips. Leftover oil can make the chips greasy and less appealing to consumers and can affect the shelf life of the chips, as the oil can cause the chips to spoil more quickly. Cooking chips in oil can result in a high-fat snack. So, Lay's and other potato chip manufacturers have also introduced baked chips as a lower-fat alternative. Baked chips are made by slicing potatoes and baking them in an oven until they are crispy. While they are lower in fat than fried chips, they may not have the same crispy texture as fried chips. The chips are then seasoned with a blend of spices and flavorings, which can vary depending on the specific flavor of the chip being made. Lay's is known for its wide variety of flavors, including classic flavors like salt and vinegar, barbecue, and sour cream and onion, as well as more unique flavors like cheddar cheese, jalapeno, and chili lime. The company regularly introduces new flavors and limited edition flavors to keep things interesting for consumers. The seasoned chips are then packaged into bags or containers, which are sealed to preserve freshness. The packaged chips are then loaded onto trucks and transported to warehouses for distribution. From there, the chips are shipped to stores and made available for purchase by consumers. The shelf life of a bag of Lay's potato chips depends on several factors, including the type of chip, the packaging, and the storage conditions. In general, Lay's potato chips have a shelf life of several months when stored in a cool, dry place. And that's how Lay's potato chips are made. Next time you're at a barbecue and enjoying some Lay's potato chips, take a moment to appreciate the process that went into making them. From sourcing the highest quality potatoes from local farms, to slicing and cooking them in hot oil, to seasoning and packaging them for distribution, the process of making Lay's potato chips involves many steps and a lot of hard work. But the result is a tasty snack that's enjoyed by people all around the world. So, next time you reach for a bag of Lay's potato chips, remember the journey they've taken to get to your plate. Happy snacking! And if you want to see how McDonald's French fries are made, we left a link for that in the description down below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for new videos.